Hi guys, today I had a small order for Biscoff Cake Jars and I decided to share with you how I do make my Biscoff Cake Jar. I really hope that you enjoy this video. So to start with the cake butter, I add some oil, sugar. I'm using light brown sugar for this recipe and I add butter. It's not a butter, but if you are based in UK, you know this is like a margarine. It's for cakes. You can buy it in any shop in the UK. We call it stock. And I mix these three ingredients very well, like for about 10 minutes. But halfway, I really like to stop and use a spatula just to scrap the bottom of my bowl, just to make sure the ingredients are incorporating all together. Okay, and I finish to mix it until it is very creamy. In the meantime, I start to get the eggs ready. Okay, I like to use ingredients at home temperature. If it's your first time here, because I've been mentioned since I started this channel, where I make my tutorial about cakes, I always mention always that the ingredients should be at home temperature, from eggs, butter, milk if you use milk. I normally use double cream for my sponge cakes, but if you are using even milk, your ingredients should be always at home temperature. It's very important to have a very fluffy and moist sponge cake. Okay. After that, I incorporate the sugar, butter, and oil. I add eggs and I add vanilla extract. I mix the eggs and the vanilla extract just to incorporate. We don't need over mix the eggs, okay? And after I start to adding my flour, I use self-raising flour or cake flour for my cakes. And I use double cream. You can see now that I'm adding double cream and add it little by little each ingredients, flour and double cream. Okay, and I mix that at a low or medium speed. Flour and the eggs, we don't need to mix too much. Okay, if you want fluff cakes, don't over mix your flour. That's why I like to always use a spatula. Spatulas helps a lot, okay, to incorporate the ingredients. Lastly, I add the baking powder. Okay, baking powder I only mix for seconds and I remove it and I finish it to incorporate it, or I finish to mix it with a spatula. Okay, my oven be on for at least 5-6 minutes now, and I'm gonna be using a 8-inch square cake tin. Okay, because this order is only for four cake jars. Okay, but you can make up to 5 if you're using the same jar, the same size of the jar that I'm using. I'm not sure, I think it's 250 milliliters. I'm gonna leave in a description box, okay, what the size of the jar that I'm using. I'm using jars from Amazon. Okay, and I believe that they are 250 milliliters. Okay, to my cake tin, I add some stock and some flour, just plain flour. Okay, and I add the cake butter and I bake this cake butter for 30 minutes. Okay, at 170 degree. 170. Okay, I like to say it very clear because I know English is not my first language and I don't want to people get wrong. Okay, so after baking this cake, you need to allow your cake to cool down completely. Okay, and so when my cake is in the oven, I started by making my buttercream. Okay, but my buttercream is the easiest buttercream ever. Why? Because I only use I double the quantity of the sugar. That's it. Like for this recipe, I'm using 125 grams of salt butter, okay, two 250 grams of icing sugar. That's it. Okay, simple. We mix the butter very, very well. Okay, I already have a tutorial about buttercream as well in my channel if you want to look for it. But it's the easiest buttercream in the world. Okay, so for this recipe, I didn't add any vanilla extract because add I add about a tablespoon of Biscoff spread for this buttercream. I took this Biscoff spread to the microwave for a few seconds, okay, just to melt properly because that helps to incorporate very well inside of your buttercream. Okay, simple. That's it. And when a cake is completely cold, we starting to add it. Okay, I left my buttercream ready, waiting for the cake to cool down. Okay, because buttercream is very quick to make because I only make a half recipe for this order, so was very easy to make. In few minutes, I made it, my buttercream. Okay, when the cake is completely cold, I like to, cut it very small pieces. I don't like to do crumbles. I don't like it because I like the idea of my customer eat a cake and they feel like they have a real cake. When you eat slice of the cakes, that's what I like. Okay, so I cut it in small, big pieces, and I add like that to the jars. Okay, I add one layer of the cake. Next layer, I add buttercream. Okay, after I add Biscoff spread that I took to the microwave as well, just to melt, a little bit, just few seconds. We don't want it to Biscoff to get hot or even warmer. It's just to melt. It helps to incorporate it to your jars, okay? And that's it. It's very simple, okay, to make. Even if you never baked before, my recipes, my tutorial is very simple, okay? I use the same recipes that I've been using since 2019, okay? When I start to bake. I bake from home and I do from mini cakes, cake jars, brownies, cupcakes, birthday cakes, but I love making cupcakes. Decorate cupcakes is for me is like a therapy. I really, really love it. I wish I could just work with cupcakes. But sometimes if you are home-based baker, you need to have an open mind and you need to think about how you're gonna make extra cash. And the mini cakes, cake jars, brownies, cookies are the best way to bring extra cash, okay? Because people not always want to have a birthday cake, but sometimes they just want a treat. And these mini cakes, cake jars, you can sell on Facebook Marketplace, as I mentioned before in my other videos. Facebook Marketplace. You can sell on eBay if you are based in UK. You can sell on Etsy. I sold so many of these on Etsy in the past. Okay, cupcakes as well. But now I'm not doing Etsy as much for my home baked products. I'm just using Etsy to sell my ebooks. Okay, so this recipe that I make it now, and in my other recipes you can find in my ebook. Okay, I have a ebook that I made with 7 flavors of mini cakes. Okay, They are mini cakes recipes, but it's the same recipe that I use for everything. I use for cupcakes, I use it for mini cakes, I use it for cake jars, I use it for birthday cake. Okay, very simple step by step tutorial, no, not tutorial, ebook. Okay, that I paid a professional to make it for me. Okay, because I'm not a writer. But it's very, very nice. I'm gonna be leaving the link of this ebook, okay, on the description box of this video. Okay, is it for my Etsy shop? If you want to check it, feel free to check it. Okay, I really appreciate you watching my video until now. Thank you so much for all the support, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next one. Okay, bye.